What's good, peeps? What is good? Good morning. As per usual, hopefully everyone is doing well. Hopefully you're all hunky-dory. What we're going to talk about today. Hunky-dory. What does that mean? 1 second, peeps. Sorry. I mean, I know what it means, but where does that come from? Hunky-dory. All right, so hunky-dory means, we know, fine, going well. But where does the expression hunky-dory come from? Sorry. There are timestamps. You can fast forward this shit. The most durable and popular theory traces hunky-dory to a street called Honcho-dori in Yokohama, Japan, where sailors on shore leave and find nightclubs and the sort of other things sailors on shore leave to go looking for. How does that, see what I'm saying? We say stuff that have absolutely no meaning. Like, how does that mean hunky-dory? I'm fine and I'm going well. How does that even relate to sailors on shore leaving for nightclubs and other sorts of things? What are the other sort of things that sailors on shore would go looking for? Funny. There's another one here. This is another one. Again, there are timestamps. I do apologize. We are going to talk boxing and we are going to get serious. For Pete's sake, we in Britain say that a lot. Oh, for Pete's sake. I have no idea why I say it. I don't really say it. To be fair, I normally say for F's sake. But okay, for Pete's sake originated as a substitute for Christ's sake. Crazy. We just say shit all the time. That makes sense, I guess, because you don't want to say for Christ's sake all the time, do you? So people have instead said for Pete's sake. All right, let's talk some boxing. Let's get rid of that stuff. But I was very intrigued about hunky-dory because I say it a lot and I have no idea what it means. So I just watched Jarrell Miller's first interview since he popped for, I think the drug's called GW1516. Am I right? Is that what it is? Let's have a look. Is it GW1516? No, maybe not. I think it is. I think it is that, actually. I'm not sure. Or something like that. Anyway, he was being interviewed by Fight Network TV. That interviewer, top man. I don't know what his name is, but it was a fantastic interview. He was pressing the questions. And trust me, in order for him to get that interview, he would have, because it's Jarrell Miller's first interview, it's a big thing, right? Jarrell Miller's team would have told that guy what he can and can't say. This is what happens. This is what happens in the media world. They would have said, you know what, can you not press on that? He ripped that script up and literally asked all the questions he wanted to ask. Fantastic. And I'm so happy he interviewed him as opposed to, I don't know, I'm not going to say any names, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm happy he asked the questions. Jarrell Miller came out on a defensive as expected and said things like this. He didn't knowingly take this drug for performance enhancing uses and that he took a substance which was contaminated and this substance had this drug in it. So this is what Jarrell Miller's saying. He was even asked whether or not he has ever taken a performance enhancing drug knowing it's for performance enhancing purposes. And Jarrell Miller said no. Yeah. Jarrell Miller is backtracking on a lot of stuff right now. I don't know if people remember, after he got popped for the AJ fight, he came on Instagram, right? Released that video on Instagram just apologizing. And I was like, you know what? Fair play. Because to be fair, not many people, in fact, I would say 99% of people that get popped don't just kind of hold their hands up and say, you know what? I got caught. And then he backtracked on that interview when he spoke to, that Instagram, when he spoke to IFL TV and basically was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, basically, it was not my fault. Like, the bum injections were for stem cell, for injury replacement, and the GW, whatever it's called, is in or was in a contaminated substance. I don't know. I don't know what that contaminated substance is. He then went on the defensive saying he can't talk about it because of legality reasons and blah, blah, blah. I don't know why you go on an interview and then basically use the that, oh, I can't talk because of legal reasons, why go on the interview then? Why even show your face if you're going to just use that barrier and that wall every time a difficult question is posed to you? But the overall thing he's trying to get out here is that his team are working on it. He's got his legal team and they're sending the substance that he was taking. And look, it could be anything, especially in this gym world. I will say this, and I'm not defending him at all. In this gym world, and he is a big gymmer, hangs around with a lot of bodybuilders who take obviously a lot of stuff, but in the stuff that's legal, so the pre-workouts, all that kind of stuff, that the creatine, the glutamine, all that kind of stuff you can take, it's contaminated with a lot of crap, you know. Again, not sticking up for him because I think this guy's a cheat, but I will say this, it's contaminated with a lot of stuff, This stuff isn't really tested. It's not. I mean, I've seen videos online about people making up their own brands basically, and they even admit to it, like, it's not tested. Some of the stuff's not tested. So a lot of these things can be contaminated. A lot of these things. I think that's what Dillian White said. When Dillian White got popped for taking Jacked 3D, I think it is, which is, I think it's a pre-workout or a fat burner. That, I think he was saying that was contaminated as well. So it can happen. It can happen. And that's just me playing devil's advocate here. It can happen. That might be true. Do I believe it's true? No, I don't. He was being asked questions he wasn't comfortable with to the point where he cut off the interview. And that's just a sign of guilt for me, right? You're just cutting off the interview because the guy's asking you questions that your team didn't tell you he was going to ask you. And you didn't like it. But that's what he's saying. He did say that he's been in conversation with Margaret Goodman, who's head of VADA, and this was prior to this incident, by the way, this infraction. He's been in conversation with her. So he's been trying to clean up whatever wrong he's done and make it right. So look, I don't know. I really don't. Again, I personally do not believe anything he says. Yeah, there's far too many infractions over the years, right? This isn't just a random one-off. It's far too many. So I don't believe him whatsoever. Again, he's going to say this. He was asked about what he thinks about him being banned for life. And obviously he's going to say, no one's going to come out and say, yeah, I should be banned for life. He said, look, he'll take his suspension, but a ban for life, absolutely not, just because he was doing the right thing. He said, I would be stupid, and this is what we've been saying, right? I would be stupid to have the incident last year with AJ and then to do this again. He would be stupid, but you would be, you didn't think you were going to get caught. That's why you done it. It's not because you're stupid, it's because you didn't think you would get caught. It's that simple. So yeah, we'll see. The worst thing about all this is if it was a contaminated substance and he knows it's a contaminated substance that contains the GW, whatever it is, 1516, then he might get away with it because he knows it's contaminated and he can use that as an excuse. Does that make any sense? So he knows that there's one thing out there that he's taken that contains this and it shouldn't contain it, but he's going to take it. Because remember, let's be honest, this is the stuff he got caught for before. So he knows. So we'll see where this plays out. You guys can go and check out the interview on Fight Network TV. Again, congratulations to that interviewer who asked them good questions, some pressing questions. The kind of questions which means he's not going to get an interview again. That's why I'm happy that he asked the question, because other people, and this is no discredit to them, but other people that maybe do YouTube videos won't ask those questions because they know they're not going to get an interview from Jarrell Manir again, and they don't want to do it. Some will, right? I know Rob Tebbit would, but he wouldn't get an interview again, and that's a difficult position to put these guys in, because again, this is what puts money on the table. So I'm happy that guy asked the questions. Jarrell Manir is a lying piece of shit. I just know. The only, in recent years, there's only one person I can remember that got popped and just, put his hands up and said, I got popped. And that's Tyson Gay, the sprinter. And I remember being so upset with Tyson Gay at the time. But Tyson Gay got popped. Fuck me, I can understand why he took it, really. I mean, this guy is doing everything he can to catch Usain Bolt, and Usain Bolt is just running away from him. There was a time when he was faster than Usain Bolt, and Usain Bolt just went, doo, and he, got caught and just put his hand up and said, you know what, yeah, took it pretty much. I trusted in people. I was let down, and yeah, I'll serve my ban. That was it. Just served his ban. And I think people, and even when he came back to the sport, there wasn't this uproar, right? There wasn't the boos, which you get, by the way, when the guy with the microphone kind of reads out the names of the people in the start line. You do get a boo to someone that's been caught cheating. Tyson Gay didn't get that. And I wonder if it's just because he openly put his hand up and said, you know what, yeah, you got me. I wonder. So sometimes you've just got to do that. You've just got to do that. And Jarrell Miller kind of did that first time round, and then he backtracked. And now I think people just look at him like, you're just a lying piece of shit. You're just a liar. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. All right, let's see what else we can talk about other than Jarrell Miller. I will say this, though. I say other than Jarrell Miller. You've got to keep talking about this. This is big news, right? I mean, it's big news. Make videos about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get the discussions going. Jarrell Miller has been caught again, people. We shouldn't, like we do in boxing, we shouldn't just sweep this under the carpet. Like we do, right? It's like, yeah, it's just a boxer cheating. Let's sweep it under the carpet. No. All right. Let's get in order, Ade. All right, we've got here. Shakan Peters, it is Shakan, isn't it? Shakan Peters or Shakan? I think it's Shakan. Isaac Chamberlain back on August 22nd on Channel 5. That's a Mick Hennessy card, I'm guessing. Look, free boxing. I'm very interested to see how this looks. I mean, everyone's going big, right? We've got Fight Island, we've got fucking fights in a garden and Matchroom. Everyone's trying to make it look a bit different. I'm very interested to see what Mick can do. But good luck to Isaac Chamberlain. Good luck to Shakan Peters. Let's see what they can do when they return back. WBC president Jarrell Miller would not enroll in our testing program. Just digging that grave. Yeah, we know this. I know this anyway. That's why he wasn't in their rankings, because he refused to enroll. That's kind of known. I think they first sent him letters in 2016, if I remember rightly, and his team said, oh, we didn't get those letters, right? Then they sent them again, they didn't respond, which is basically just signing off that you're okay to be tested. Didn't respond, and that was it, they removed him. And it's not like he petitioned to get back in by saying, yes, please, get me back in. That alone is sort of red flagging yourself, right? That should send alarm bells, right? When a fighter refused to enroll in drug testing. That's it. I would love to interview a fighter. I might have to start doing some interviews, I really would love to interview a fighter that isn't on this drug test. And why? Like, why? Is it a monetary thing? I mean, do these fighters have to pay a bit to get on there? Like, why don't you want to be on this all year round drug testing? Like, give me one valid reason. Because it's not just Jarrell Miller. There are other fighters out there, by the way, that are not on this. Like, when you don't see a fighter that is high up, was a popular fighter that you know that's not in the rankings, this is probably why, especially within the WBC rankings anyway. This is why. I would just like, obviously the WBC have put their best foot forward, I guess, but I would just like to see the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF do something similar with VADA. Like, let's all get on this. Let's really just flood the system with drug testing. Let's flood it. And trust me, you will catch some people. Not everyone, but you will catch some. All right. Charlo's trainer, Derevyanchenko, is front runner for next fight. Ooh, I like that one. I do like that fight. That's a tough fight for Charlo. It really is. I mean, we've seen it now, right? The proof's in the pudding. I mean, not only have we seen it, you could make an argument, hear me out here, that Derevanchenko is better than Charlo at 160. Calm down, calm down. Based on the facts that we've seen him in with two top elite 160 guys, and it's been razor thin. We saw him in with Jacobs, razor thin, and we saw him with GGG, razor thin. We haven't seen Charlo with anyone. Fact. And when we did see Charlo in against Korobov, people thought Korobov won. So, I mean, that's a tough fight for Charlo. Tough fight. Like, tough fight. I mean, the only thing is, how much did that GGG fight take out of Derevanchenko? A lot of people say, how much did it take out of GGG? I mean, the opposite has to go as well. I mean, GGG was hitting him with everything. I mean, Jacobs, Big Danny Jacobs was hitting him with everything as well. So I do wonder what's left. But and maybe they're seeing it as well. There's always smart moves when it comes to making these fights. And maybe they're thinking, you know what, this is the best time to take him. And if you can beat him better than GGG and Danny Jacobs did, it helps. So let's see what happens. But that's a very, very good matchup. Sorry, peeps, let's get the coffee in. Okay, this is interesting. Very interesting. Canelo not facing a champion in the fall, says Golden Boy President. So Canelo will not face, not just a champion, but Canelo won't face a top name in the fall. It is now being reported that Canelo will come back behind closed doors. The Zone desperately need him to come back behind closed doors, but it won't be a big name, just because financially they can't pay a big name, right? Understandably, Canelo's gate is one of the biggest gates in boxing. There is no gate, and Canelo's under a contract where Canelo's getting paid big money per fight, right? So what is it again? It's something like $365 million over 11 fights. Are they still going to have to pay Canelo that money? So what's that, a $30 million per fight something? Are they still going to have to pay him that money even though there's no crowds? That's painful. So yeah, obviously they can't pay an opponent, a top opponent, anything like what they usually would pay a Canelo opponent. I don't know what Kovalev got, but I heard something around 8-9 million Kovalev got. They obviously can't pay that again. So they're going to have to go to the bargain basement. And I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say that. So that's why we've heard names like Anthony Jarrell being mentioned, right? Former world champion, former WBC world champion. So it makes sense now why these names are being mentioned and why other names like Canelo and, Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith and Caleb Plant are not being talked about anymore. So it probably will be an Anthony Jarrell. And it's a good opportunity for Anthony Jarrell, right? Canelo. And you know, funny thing is, I'm trying to think what's Anthony Jarrell's biggest fight. Let's have a quick look at his resume quickly. I think it might be Sakio Bika, which is bad. 2 secs. Anthony Jarrell. Okay. Benavidez last time out. Yildirim, no. Truax, no. Badu Jack was on there. That was quite a big fight. Sakio Bika. What I'm getting at here is that they will be lowballing Anthony Jarrell financially, but even lowballing Anthony Jarrell could be his highest pay purse. So if they were to give Anthony Jarrell, just chucking it out here, 1.5 million. Don't know. I have no idea, right? He didn't get paid that for any of these fights. And I doubt it. Would he have got paid 1.5 million for Benavidez? You know, maybe because he was the champion. Maybe, but I doubt it. I doubt it very much, in fact. So, Anthony Jarrell's not going to mind being lowballed and being called in. And look, I don't even know if it's Anthony Jarrell. That was a name that was brought up, I think, about a month ago. And it makes sense why it was brought up now. So, we will see. All right, last couple of bits. WBC president backs Fury. Loaded glove allegations are ridiculous, sad, and irresponsible. Okay. I'm surprised that he's given this any energy, if I'm honest with you. He was on Sky Sports giving an interview and he mentioned or spoke about this. I don't know. I'm a bit shocked that Tyson Fury's come out and said anything. I'm a bit shocked that Mauricio Sulaiman has come out and said anything. Did they need to say anything? Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that they would actually come out. Because let's be honest, the only people that have actually spoke about this loaded gloves thing are a few channels, right? YouTube channels. And I think that Deontay Wilder's brothers hinted at something. Does that require a response from Tyson Fury? Does that require a response from the WBC president? I mean, if it was Deontay Wilder, right? If it was Shelly Finkel, right? If it was those people, Al Heyman, if it was like it got to that level, then you've got to respond, right? If it gets legal, then you've got to respond. But do you have to respond to this? Interesting. I do wonder if this is just going to go away like that, or if Deontay Wilder says something. If Deontay Wilder comes out and says something, then it might not just slip away into the night. It might, this might sort of go on and on, but I doubt it's going to get to that. But interesting. I do find it interesting, people. And the reason I find it interesting is because this is boxing. Like, nothing would shock me in boxing. Nothing. That's true. Like, nothing. Again, I made a video on this yesterday. Do I believe Tyson Fury's gloves were loaded? No, I do not. If I found out Tyson Fury's gloves were loaded, would I be in shock? No, I would not. So that's kind of contradicting, right? But that's boxing. Boxing makes you contradict. Boxing does that. Like, this is a weird sport that we love. It's a very, very weird sport. And people would do anything. And we've seen it. People do anything to win. Anything. But again, I don't believe that Tyson Fury has loaded gloves. I really don't. I just think it's excuses being made by the opposing team. All right. Anything we have left? Let's have a quick look and see if there's anything in here. A couple of Dillian White bits. We're not going to talk about that. I feel like that's just, that's almost like clickbait story right now, isn't it? Dillian White says he'll beat up Fury. No fight planned, but you're beating up Fury. What else we got here? More bits on the loaded gloves. Yeah, interested. I feel like this loaded gloves thing as well. Like the more they talk about it, the more they keep it as a conversation. If Fury wasn't going to say anything, and if Mauricio Sulaimán wasn't going to say anything, it would have just died. The fact that they now have spoken about it means that the opposing team will send a rebuttal, right? They're going to say something, and then they have to say, it's just going to keep them going back and forth, I think. To the point now where I expect whoever interviews Eddie next might even ask Eddie the question, or Frank next, and it's just going to keep building and building into something. And it really isn't something. All right, we're done anyway. Q&A will be filmed straight after this. So hopefully we get the Q&A up, and then I'm doing Addy and Friends as well with a couple of nice geezers. I'm still waiting for a woman to join Addy and Friends, so please. There is a girl that always watches the channel that sends me comments. Aisha Queen, her name is. Get involved, Aisha. We need you on Addy and Friends. Peace.